Hello, this is my knitting update for September. September was a very unique month for me. I did a social media detox where I did not go on Instagram and YouTube. And it opened up a lot of space for me to think and be. And you would think that I would knit more because I have more time, but apparently I knit less if I have less time on social media, which makes sense because it is when I'm watching videos, that's when I knit. So if I watch less videos, I knit less. Nonetheless, I have finished some things that I want to share with you. Let's see. So I have 3 finished objects. I have technically 4 work in progresses, but I'm just going to talk about 2 of them because the other 2 I did not touch at all. So my first finished object is my ranunculus. Here she is. I used the yarn is Drops Air in this maroon red color. I still have a bit left over. I'm thinking of making a scrunchie out of this, and then this would be a very Christmas appropriate outfit. Or maybe not even a scrunchie, but something that you can tie in your hair. So the pattern is the ranunculus by Midori Hirose, and I've knit size 2 or size 3. I should look it up, but I'm not too sure. As you can see, I did the long sleeve version. I did do the twisted rib for the bottom here. It took forever. I think I like it, but yeah, I like it. Shall I try it on for you? Let's. Okay. This is it. I can stand up. It's a really flowy and lightweight fabric. I've been wearing it a lot these days. The only thing that I might pay more attention to next time is how I finish my sleeves. I definitely had a case of sleeve island. I was not motivated to work on my sleeves, but you can see that this sleeve curls and this sleeve doesn't. I don't know what I did differently, I forgot. There is actually a lot of time difference between when I finished this one and finished that one. And of course I didn't write down what I did. But yeah, my sleeve kind of looked different and they're probably not the same length. But who cares? Who cares? And also this helps me differentiate what is front and what is back, what is left and what is right. So it's functional. And I really do love the color. It's like this deep red, and I don't have a lot of, that's not true. I do have red in my wardrobe, but not this kind of red, and also not this kind of style. Yes, I love it. I guess I'll just keep wearing this for the rest of the video. The next finished object, it is my ecstatic socks. So the last time you've seen that I have 1 sock. And now I have the second one done. So the pattern is called I'm Ecstatic socks. I forgot the designer's name. Oh, Cool Stitches, yes. And it's basically just a cabled pattern. Quite simple. But I'm a beginner at knitting cables, so this is a good entry for me. And for some reason, the size is a bit different, but I think I knit it exactly the same, so probably my tension is different. So that's something to consider, is that if there's a time difference in when you knit the first one and when you knit the second one, you might encounter size difference. Even though you follow the pattern to the T, sometimes you just knit tighter than other times. But nothing a little blocking can solve. Yeah, here it is. The yarn I use is leftover. I use Drops Fable in this gray color that you can barely tell, but that's the base. And the pink is a Rowan Kid Silk Haze. And I held those two together. Yeah. Due to the mohair, the Kid Silk Haze, it's a very warm and fluffy fiber, so I think I'm ready for winter. Speaking of winter, it is getting cold here in the Netherlands. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about that, because it means I can wear a sweater, which is really nice, but at the same time it means it's getting cold, which is not a very pleasant feeling in my opinion. Yes, but yeah, this is my second finished object. Should I wear my blue hat? Is it gonna look weird? Is it too much? Red and blue? I think it's fine. Okay, then the next finished object, yeah, I'll show you. I'd say it's an impulsive knit. I wanted something to bring with me on the road. So I knitted some leg warmers. Does it look familiar? It is the same pattern as the ecstatic socks by Co Stitches, but instead of making a sock, I just knit a tube, so then they can be leg warmers. And last year I've knitted myself some basic 2x2 leg warmers, and in the winter I've used them a whole lot, like almost every day, probably every day. Yeah, I use them a whole lot, and they stretch out so they kind of like slide off my lower leg, but still they're very functional and can keep my lower leg warm. So I decided I needed another pair, and I wanted to get comfortable with knitting cables even more, so yeah, that's what I did. I can try it on for you, but so and it sucks, woohoo! But yeah, I won't wear it like this because I think it looks too vintage, but I'll probably wear it more like this. Can you tell? Like slouchy. Yeah. And then with some boots, or like thick shoes with this over it. I think it's gonna look super cute and super warm. I used 60 stitches, and the needle size is 3 or 3.5. I think 3.5, yes. Needle size 3.5, 60 stitches in the round. Yeah. And the yarn is yes, I still have the label. Is Novita yarn. Spinning yarns in Finland. So it's yarn from Finland called Iso Valley. So this is the yarn. It's supposed to be a thick sock yarn because it's 75% wool and 25% polyamide. Yeah, initially I bought it because I wanted to make some thick socks, but turn out they're meant to be leg warmers. And yeah, this is just one ball of yarn. So yeah, this is my third finished object. Actually just finished them yesterday. And then we can already head into my works in progresses. So as I said, I'm just going to show you 2 of them because the other 2 I did not work on at all. The first one is the Lonely Leftover Vest by woolandbeyond. And I've come pretty far because the last time we were here, I was working on the body, and now the body is done, and I've even done the I-cord edges for the armholes. So the only thing that's left is doing the I-cord edges for the rest of the body over here. So this is the yarn that I have left. It's the same brown as this one. So I hope it's enough. I think it will be enough. But otherwise, we'll just have to think about something else. Yes. The thing is, I don't really have really long cables. So to solve that problem, I have to attach 3 different lengths of cables to make it long enough to do the I-cord all the way, because it's quite a distance. Yeah, and also because it feels like such a big task, I've been postponing it. We're only human, but actually it went pretty fast, these 2 I-cords, so I have hope that it's not gonna take too long to finish this. Once again, let's talk about the yarn. This is Cascade Yarns 220. I bought it through Marktplaats, this marketplace online thing, and I used gray for the back and white for the body, and the brown is actually drops Nepal leftover. I can put it on so you can have an idea what it looks like. It's a bit weird with this sweater, but yeah, she is cute. She is pretty cute and very squishy from the garter stitch. Okay, then our last whip, which is a very boring one. I have been buying a bit of yarn this month, but actually it's just one big purchase. So a part of me feels like I should also work a bit on my stash. So this is my stash busting project. So if you remember my window pane leftover vest, no, not leftover, my window pane vest. This is my leftover yarn. Let me show you actually. So a couple months ago I finished this one, and this light brown beigey color is this color. Yeah. So I had like maybe 1.5 balls left. I decided to knit myself another hat. But the thing is, I don't want a simple 2x2 hat because I already have one of those, maybe even more. And because I was on that cable knitting train, I was like, let's knit a cable hat. So I have cable socks, cable leg warmers. It's time for a cable hat. And instead of, staying in my comfort zone of knitting the I'm Ecstatic Socks cable pattern, I'm gonna venture out into a free pattern that I forgot the name of, but I will look it up and put it in the description down below. And I'm just gonna follow that pattern, but for now, it's just simple 2x2. But soon, after 4 inches I can start the cable pattern. Yeah, and I look forward to that. I'm using 3.75 millimeter needles, and this is a Vanti Super Tweed. It's not the softest, but I can wear this. I can put this over my head. Yeah, so this is a lovely small project. And actually that is it. For the remainder of the time, I would like to talk to you about my yarn acquisitions. I need to think about it. There are two ways I buy yarn. One way is kind of like a souvenir. So if I go to a new city or a new country, I want to go to a yarn store and kind of buy a ball or two of yarn as a souvenir, as a reminder of that place and that time. That's why I bought this ball of yarn. So last week I was in Dordrecht, which is a city in the south, in the province South Holland, and there is this yarn store called Rebel with a Twist, and I went there and was very overwhelmed. There was a lot of beautiful yarn, but the thing is I don't want to buy multiples of yarn because I have plenty, so I decided to go with this one, the Mondim sock yarn with multiple colors. I literally stood there for maybe a good 5 to 10 minutes deciding which color to pick, and because I couldn't decide which color to pick, I decided to pick a multicolor one. So this is yarn made in Portugal. So it's 100% Portuguese wool, 100 grams is 385 meters. It is a non-superwash sock weight yarn, and you can knit socks with this, but there is no nylon or any kind of polyamide stretchy thing to make it more long-lasting. So I haven't decided yet if I want to knit socks with this or not. I think it will look good with socks. But maybe I'll reinforce it with some of those nylon things you get from the Lange wools. I don't know if you know, but if you purchase these, on the inside there's those thread to make it sturdier. I think I have a blue one. Let's see. Yeah. So I have this blue one, so I'm not sure if it'll match, but maybe at the heel I can knit this thread with it so it can be maybe a bit sturdier and long lasting. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan, but I'm not gonna start with this because I want to use up my older sock yarns first. So that's one thing that I purchased. The other way that I purchase yarn is kind of unique yarn, or yarn that I have never encountered before, or I don't know, some kind of sentimental value as well. I mean, souvenir yarn is also like, it has a sentimental reason behind it. And basically I'm saying the other way I buy yarn is through this Dutch website, Marktplaats, and I look for secondhand yarn or hand spun or local yarn, and that's what I found. So there's this lady who is selling a lot of hand spun and locally grown yarn. Is that how you say it? So they're like Dutch sheep. I'm not sure exactly what kind of sheep they are, but they're sheep. And also she gave me some free balls of alpaca. So this is all alpaca. And I think they're all undyed, so just natural color. So this is alpaca, this is alpaca, and this is alpaca. And I was just so curious to feel how it knits up. And this is also hand spun. So without a plan, I just decided to knit a swatch and then knit around the swatch with this color. So it's gonna be like a little project bag kind of thing. Maybe I'll even felt it, and yeah, just like a self-drafted, no plan kind of project with all my hand spun, locally grown alpaca. Yeah, it's a very rustic kind of feeling, and also the yarn is thick and thin. So that's interesting. It has that artisan vibe, you know, like you can really feel that this is just made with hands, and then lots of different hands have touched this thing to eventually end up in my own hands to create something out of it. And that's the beauty of creating, isn't it? And speaking of all the other hand-spun, locally grown sheep yarn, I have already wind them up into cakes, but they came as hangs. So I have a lot of these. Like I have these. So I have this much. These are the undyed ones. I would call them fingering weight yarn. Yeah, they're pretty thin, and they're pretty scratchy. So I'm actually not too sure what I want to make with it. Maybe I should like knit a swatch and block it and see if the yarn will relax or not. Because if it's not, I don't think I want to knit it as a garment, because who would want to wear like a grassy feeling garment, right? Yeah, but also I also got some hand dyed versions of the yarn. So and it's all using plant material. Look at this. I think it's pretty cool. Walnut, avocado, onion. I don't know what this is. Maybe indigo. Yeah, so these are with plant materials, hand dyed. I think it's pretty cool, but honestly, I bought it at a whim and have no idea what I want to make with it. So we'll see. I started a teeny tiny swatch, and this is, I think, using 3 millimeters, and already it's super holy. So maybe I have to like hold 2 yarns together, 2 strands together. This is gonna be a project where I just have to like try things out. Yeah, this is definitely not your commercial yarn, but it does mean that it's gonna be a very special and unique project if I eventually find something to make with it. Yeah, I think that's it basically. That's my purchase. So it is like 10 plus balls of yarn, but it's all in one purchase. Actually, I did purchase some more tools. So I purchased a cable needle. Yeah, but I don't think you need to see that. You know what a cable needle looks like. And also I purchased some more needles because I just needed more needles. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for this month, for September. Today is September 30th. I hope September was a good one for you and that you can meet October with some nice spooky vibes, embrace the colder weather, the fall season, and make sure you drink warm, eat warm, and dress warm. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Thanks for hanging out with me.